In the midst of the profanity and evil that is the boys, there are 7 specific characters that perfectly portray the 7 heavenly virtues, and we're going to start off with the virtue of humility. Humility is the feeling or attitude that you have no special importance that makes you better than others. And despite Stan Edgar practically being the most powerful man in the boys universe, not once do we see him act like he's better than everyone, except when faced with the deadly sin of pride.
You are not worthy of my respect. You are not a god. You are simply bad product.
Stan is a stoic, cutthroat, imposing and strict businessman who, despite being friendly, has a sense of practicality that only means one thing: business. But deep down, this imposing facade is a man very down to earth, and this only speaks volumes of the humble beginnings he had.
Stanford Edgar. I'm an associate with Latin American.
He began his career with Vought far back in the 80s as an associate. He later rose to the position of a CEO, and rising from that position takes a certain level of humility, and that's what Stan Edgar embodies. Although he is humble to the core, make no mistake, Stan is not such a simple man. He's fierce and unrelentless, and perhaps this is where we should draw the line between humility and timidity. Being humble shouldn't make you weak, rather it should fuel your strength and bravery. Unlike other staff of Vought, Stan is never afraid of Homelander.
What did you give her?
A little respect, Stan. Something you should have given me.
What good would that do?
It is Stan's humility, strength and bravery that makes the arrogant Homelander scared of him, showing us that in the face of humility, pride cowers. Chastity is the quality of being chaste, avoiding anything that could contaminate our thoughts, actions and words. And the character that represents this virtue perfectly is Kimiko. Despite her very traumatic past, Kimiko has somehow managed to avoid the evil that would easily contaminate her thoughts, actions, or her words. While her selective mutism may be a condition, it also mirrors her internal struggle, a desire to remain untouched by the corruption that surrounds her, especially in a world that wants to strip away her innocence and stop her from subscribing to my channel. Kimiko's approach to relationships, particularly with Frenchie, further proves that she is the very embodiment of chastity. While she initially keeps him at a distance, his unwavering patience and respect for her boundaries allow her to slowly open up. In a world as dark as hers, Kimiko teaches us the importance of reclaiming control over our body and choices. Her resilience reminds us that even amidst trauma, we have the power to guard what's precious within us. Charity is the ultimate perfection of the human spirit, as it is the highest form of love. It's sad that a show about superheroes doesn't have one superhero that embodies this virtue. It's the human, Grace Mallory, that does. Everything about her screams generosity and helpfulness, especially toward those who are suffering or in need. As a former CIA operative, Mallory devotes her life to protecting people from the unchecked mayhem caused by the soups. She's even the one who founded the boys.
Grace Mallory. I'm the founder of your little club.
Mallory's charitable nature isn't limited to her professional mission. It's deeply personal. After losing her grandchildren in a horrific attack orchestrated by Lamplighter, she could have stepped away entirely. Instead, she doubles down, channeling her grief into action to prevent others from experiencing the same pain. Her relentless efforts to mentor and guide Butcher, Huey, and the rest of the team underlines her selflessness.
Vengeance isn't a path to glory, Hugh. It's a one-way ticket to a dead end.
Even when faced with impossible odds, she continually gives her time, resources and expertise to empower them in their fight against corruption.
I lost 116 men, and Vought got full immunity. That was the day I decided to make them pay.
What makes Mallory's charity remarkable is that it's not glamorous or easy. It's messy, painful, and often thankless. She sacrifices her safety, relationships, and peace of mind, all for a cause greater than herself. Her story is a reminder that true charity isn't about grand gestures. It's about showing up even when it's hard and giving everything you can to make the world a better place. Grace Mallory may not wear a cape, but her actions embody what being a hero truly means, just like Mother's Milk. Mother's Milk has always been a big friendly giant. It's his kindness that makes him the father figure of the group. He embodies the virtue of kindness because of his ability to lead with empathy, even when surrounded by darkness. even after he watched Soldier Boy kill his grandfather right before his eyes. Among all the members of the boys with personal vendettas, stands out for maintaining his compassion. Despite his father dying in his attempts to bring a lawsuit against Vought, which drives his desire for revenge, he remains polite, supportive, and protective of his loved ones. Milk takes care of those he holds dear. Even after the boys are labeled as wanted fugitives, Milk continues to worry about his wife and daughter despite not being able to be with them. His relationship with his daughter reflects his deeply rooted kindness. MM's ultimate goal is to create a safer world for her, which drives him to keep fighting even when the odds seem insurmountable. Through his actions, teaches us the value of compassion and resilience. Strength isn't about physical power, it's about standing firm in your principles and caring for others, even in the darkest of times. Temperance is moderation in action, thought, or feeling. It's also quite sad that the kid is the one representing this virtue.
Not the kid.
Ryan Butcher is a child, but he's got more self-control than most adults in The Boys, and that's saying something in a world full of soups losing their minds. One of the most telling moments happens when Homelander threatens Ryan's mom. Ryan just shoves Homelander to the ground, but unlike Homelander, he doesn't go full rage mode even though his eyes were already glowing red. Instead, he manages to stop himself without unleashing the full destructive power. Now, that's a serious lesson in moderation. Here's this kid, barely in his teens, resisting the urge to destroy everything in sight, while surrounded by some of the most unhinged characters ever. If Ryan, who's been through emotional roller coasters and has more power than most adults, can stay calm, what's our excuse? Ryan's restraint shows us that sometimes the best way to deal with anger or frustration is not to give in to it. Instead of going on a destructive spree, Ryan teaches us that holding back and controlling ourselves is a superpower of its own.
What do you want to do?
I kind of want to help people. But not like with fake saves, like really help. It's what my mom would want.
Patience is the capacity to accept or tolerate delay, problems, or suffering without becoming annoyed or anxious. And in The Boys, Huey Campbell is the very embodiment of this heavenly virtue.
Talk to me.
Stop it.
What do you mean stop it? Stop it.
Even though life throws him lemons, like his wife leaving him, raising a son on his own, and dealing with his own struggles, he doesn't lose his cool and he makes lemonade out of these. And that's a pretty big deal, especially when you think about how much easier it would be to explode or lose control. But Huey Sr. just keeps it together. He's always there for his son when things get tough. He's calm in a world that's anything but. Now, for someone like Huey Jr., who's dealing with a lot of anger and frustration, his father's calmness can be a bit annoying. Huey wants to see a bit of fire from his dad. He feels like his father should be more angry, more upset about the stuff that's happened to them. But Huey Sr.'s ability to stay steady and patient is actually a huge strength. It's the kind of strength that over time helps Huey see how to handle life's lemons without losing yourself in the process. Even though Huey Sr.'s patience sometimes make him look unbothered or slothful, it's this very trait that lets him keep being there for Huey when his son needs him most. In a way, it's a silent kind of love. It's not loud or in your face. It's reliable. And sometimes, that's exactly what we need. Whenever I think of Diligence, I often remember the anthill and what it cost those tiny giants to erect it. This is not to say that Frenchie is tiny, but he sure does have a lot in common with the ants. Frenchie is a character who consistently shows diligence despite his dark past and ongoing struggles. He always puts in the effort when it matters, especially when it comes to protecting those he cares about.
Mon cœur? Mon cœur?
His dedication is clear in several key moments, such as when he risks his life to help Kimiko escape from Black Noir, even when he knows it will cost him everything. Although he has a history of violence and morally questionable actions, Frenchie works hard to atone for his mistakes. He tries to be a better person, showing that he's willing to go the extra mile to right his wrongs. Just like the time he broke things up with Collins Hauser in a bid to seek for his forgiveness for killing his family in the past.
It was me.
Frenchie always seems to be wrestling with the mistakes he made in the past, yet he continues to move forward with determination. His willingness to take on tough situations even when they make him uncomfortable or put him at risk showcases his core dedication to the cause and his friends. Speaking of friends, a big shout out to Serpentious. Your comment on this video on the screen really helped in the making of this one. Go check out the video. You know you want to.